Welcome back to the deep dive. I am so ready for this one today because we are wading into some incredibly turbulent water.
Yeah, we really are. It's a heavy one.
It is. We are just talking about romance novels today. We are looking at the thin, sometimes totally invisible, and often razor-sharp line between love and hate. We're talking about passion that burns so hot it can either forge a diamond or just, well, burn the whole house down. Today, we are diving deep into Twisted Hate by Ana Huang.
And it is a fascinating case study. I think we need to set the record straight right immediately. To simply call this a romance novel really does a disservice to the psychological complexity at play here.
Right, absolutely.
This isn't just about two people who bicker in a hallway. It's a study on trauma, on the masks we wear to survive, and what happens when the one person who sees through your mask is the exact person you think you despise.
Exactly. I mean, I think a lot of us grow up with this misconception that the opposite of love is hate. We hear it all the time, right?
All the time.
But the source material here posits something very different. And honestly, something that feels much truer to life when you really break it down.
Right, because the psychological consensus, and really the entire thesis of this book, is that the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference.
Indifference.
Hate
Yeah.
requires energy, massive amounts of energy. It requires focus. To truly hate someone, you have to be obsessed with them. You have to know them intimately enough to know exactly where to strike to make it hurt.
And that is the central tension of Twisted Hate. It's that obsession just waiting to be flipped. If you're spending 90% of your day thinking about how much you annoy someone, you're still thinking about them 90% of the day.
Precisely. And that energy has to go somewhere. It doesn't just evaporate.
So our mission for this deep dive is to deconstruct that flip. We're going to look at Josh Chen and Jules Ambrose, our combatants, basically, and figure out how they go from calling each other Satan's spawn to something much more complicated.
And the journey is not pretty.
No, it's really not. I want to start with the players themselves, because on the surface, they seem like total stereotypes. You've got the hot doctor and the party girl. But the book spends so much time completely dismantling those initial impressions.
Completely. Let's start with Josh Chen. In the blue corner, so to speak.
The golden boy.
The ultimate golden boy. I mean, on paper, this guy is the absolute dream. He is a high-flying medical resident. He's incredibly handsome. He's got that easygoing, charming energy.
He's the brother of Ava Chen, who you might know from the previous books in this universe.
Right, exactly. So he seems to have it all together. He's the guy you bring home to mom.
But the golden rule of our deep dives is if someone looks perfect, they are hiding a mess.
Always. And Josh is hiding a profound, cavernous sense of numbness. The text describes him as an adrenaline junkie, skydiving, skiing triple black diamonds, racing cars. But it's not because he just loves sports or is naturally exuberant.
No, it's much darker than that.
It's because he is desperate to feel something. Anything at all.
That's a key distinction right there. It's not joy he's chasing. It's stimulation. He's trying to shock his system into feeling alive.
Exactly. He is battling what we might call high-functioning trauma. Remember, his father, Michael, literally tried to kill his sister.
Which is just an unfathomable, horrific betrayal.
It shatters your reality. And in the wake of that, Josh had to step up and be the protector, the man of the house, the rock for his sister and his mother. When you are forced into that role at a young age or under that kind of duress, you often dissociate from your own fear just to function.
You completely shut down your own needs to serve others.
Yes. So beneath that golden boy exterior, Josh isn't just chill. He's bored. He's entirely numb to everyday life.
The only time he feels truly alive is when he's in the ER saving a life, high stakes, or when he's jumping out of a plane. High stakes again.
He needs the threat of death to feel the pulse of life.
Or, and this is where it gets interesting when he's fighting with Jules.
Precisely. She pierces the numbness. She is the human equivalent of a triple black diamond ski run. She's dangerous, she's unpredictable, and she requires his absolute full attention.
Which brings us to the red corner, quite literally, given her hair, Jules Ambrose.
Jules is a fascinating mirror to Josh. She's Ava's best friend, she's fiery, ambitious, a brilliant law student. She projects this party girl image, always flirting, loves luxury brands, looks like she doesn't have a care in the world beyond her next cocktail.
But her mask is just as thick as Josh's. I'd argue it's maybe thicker.
I agree, because it's forged in deep shame. Jules Ambrose is a study in overcompensation born of severe poverty. She grew up in Ohio, and the details the author provides are just heartbreaking. We're talking about a childhood where she had to siphon electricity from neighbors because her mother didn't pay the bills.
That detail about the electricity really stuck with me. It's such a visceral example of insecurity. You can't even relax in your own home because the lights might go out at any second. It creates this baseline of constant anxiety.
It literally rewires the brain. It creates a permanent state of hypervigilance. You are always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And her mother, well, she didn't just neglect Jules, she viewed Jules as competition.
That is just devastating.
It is. When the person who is supposed to nurture you instead use you as a rival, it completely destroys your self-worth. So Jules builds this party girl persona as armor. She uses sarcasm to keep people at arm's length.
Because if she makes the joke first, you can't laugh at her.
Right. And if she acts like she only cares about having fun, you can't see how terrified she is of failing.
And she loves her luxury goods, the cashmere, the expensive vodka. It's so easy to write that off as being shallow, but given her background, it feels like something else entirely.
It's not vanity, it's safety. Financial security is her love language to herself. She is gunning for a job at Silver & Klein, a top law firm. To her, that job isn't just a career, it's a fortress.
If she gets that job, if she makes that money, the poor girl from Ohio can't be hurt again.
She can buy her own lights. She can ensure they never go out.
So you have these two characters, both incredibly attractive, both high achievers, both deeply traumatized, and both wearing these incredibly heavy masks. And they have been in each other's orbit for 7 years. 7 years of absolute hostility.
But it's a very specific brand of hostility. It's not the, I ignore you when you walk in the room kind of hate. It's the, I am going to poke you until you explode kind.
Let's talk about that inciting dynamic. The nicknames alone tell a story. He calls her Red, or JR.
JR stands for Jessica Rabbit.
Which is such a dig at her appearance, the red hair, the curves. But it's also implication of promiscuity or artificiality.
It's a way to objectify her and dismiss her intellect simultaneously. He reduces her to a cartoon sex symbol. It's his way of saying, I don't take you seriously.
And she calls him Joshy, which she knows he absolutely hates.
Because it infantilizes him. It strips away his Dr. Chen authority. It reminds him that she knew him before he was the big shot. They know exactly where the buttons are. They have the map to each other's insecurities.
There is a scene early on that really sets the stage for the reality of their relationship. It happens at a bar called the Bronze Gear. I loved the scene because it's so relatable and so humiliating.
Oh, the Todd the Toad scene?
Yes. Jules is having a terrible day, caught in the rain, a bad apartment hunt, and she's there for a date with this guy named Todd the Toad.
We have to mention the fish photo.
The classic dating app red flag. The man holding the fish. Why is it always a fish?
It's the universal sign of swipe left, but Jules is desperate for a distraction. She's trying to force a connection just to get away from her stress. So she's there, dressed in this gorgeous green cashmere, looking amazing, and Todd stands her up.
And of all the people in New York City, who is there to witness this humiliation? Josh Chen.
Naturally.
Now, if this were pure hate, a true enemy would laugh. A true enemy would take a photo, post it in the group chat, and leave. Look at Jules getting rejected.
Right. And Josh does mock her. He points out she's dressed up for a guy who didn't show. He twists the knife a little because that's their dynamic. But watch the physical action. When she tries to storm out, upset and embarrassed, she trips.
And he catches her.
Instinctively.
Yeah.
He doesn't even think. He physically catches her to stop her from falling. And later in that same sequence, when she's walking to the metro and gets held up by a mugger, Josh is there. He intervenes. He steps in front of a gun for her.
Well, Jules had her own gun in her purse, which is a whole other layer of her I will protect myself character that we love. But Josh didn't know that. He was ready to take a bullet for the woman he claims to hate.
That is the dissonance. The mouth says, I hate you, but the body says, I will protect you. And Jules notes something fascinating about her physiological reaction to him. She says hearing his voice triggers a Pavlovian response. Her blood pressure skyrockets. It's straight up fight or flight.
I think that's where the love-hate line gets blurry biologically, don't you think?
It is. Physiologically, anger and arousal look very, very similar. Elevated heart rate, dilated pupils, flushed skin, adrenaline dump. Her body is reacting to him with extreme high intensity. Whether her brain labels that sensation as rage or attraction is almost secondary to the fact that he stimulates her nervous system in a way no one else does.
Todd the Toad certainly didn't make her heart race.
No, Josh does.
So we have this high-tension baseline, but they can't stay in this stasis forever. Something has to shift. And usually in these stories, that shift comes from forced proximity.
The forced proximity trope. It's a classic for a very good reason. It strips away the ability to flee, They are forced to work together at the Legal Health Alliance clinic.
And this is where the professional masks come into play. Josh sees Jules the lawyer, not Jules the party girl, and Jules sees Josh the doctor, not Josh the playboy.
Competence is a massive aphrodisiac for high-achieving people. When you are competent, you respect competence. Josh watches her handle a pro bono case, the Bauer case, and he sees her legal mind at work. He sees her tenacity.
It's hard to maintain a caricature of someone when you see them excelling at something difficult.
Exactly. He realizes she isn't just a party girl. She's a shark. And he likes sharks.
And she sees that he isn't just a pretty face, he's a truly dedicated healer. But the moment that really pivots the relationship isn't a legal victory or a medical miracle, it's a cupcake.
The salted caramel cupcake.
It seems like such a throwaway detail, but the source material highlights this as a major turning point. Why is a pastry so important here?
Because of the data it represents. Josh brings her a salted caramel cupcake because he knows it's her favorite. When she asks how he knows, he says, "It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Every time I see you, you're inhaling a caramel mocha."
So, while he was busy hating her for 7 years, while he was insulting her and calling her Jessica Rabbit, he was also memorizing her coffee order.
Exactly. He has been paying attention. That is, the hate requires energy theory in action.
Yeah.
You don't memorize the dietary habits of people you are indifferent to. You don't notice what flavor of syrup they put in their coffee unless you are watching them closely. It reveals that his gaze has always been on her.
This leads to the inevitable explosion. The sexual tension just boils over, and they decide to stop fighting the attraction. They make a deal, enemies with benefits.
And like all characters in the history of romance novels, they set rules that they are psychologically incapable of following.
Let's review the contract. Rule 1, no jealousy. Rule 2, no strings attached. Rule 3, absolutely no falling in love.
It's dramatic irony at its finest. We, the listeners, know this is doomed. Josh is possessive by nature. Remember, he's the protector. He treats the people in his life as his to guard. We see it almost immediately.
He reacts to Jules interacting with other men.
Yes, like Marshall at the clinic, or later with the famous Asher Donovan. He claims he doesn't care, but his internal monologue is screaming, "Mine."
It's that territorial instinct. He thinks he can separate the physical possession from the emotional connection.
Which is a complete fallacy. Especially for two people who already have 7 years of emotional baggage between them. They aren't starting from 0, they are starting from 100.
They think they can compartmentalize the sex. They think they can keep it in a neat little box labeled physical release. But then they go to Vermont.
Vermont is critical. If the clinic was about professional respect, Vermont is about physical vulnerability. Josh teaches her to ski.
Which requires trust. You have to trust that the person isn't going to let you slide off the side of the mountain.
And you have to allow yourself to be bad at something in front of them. Jules hates looking weak, but she lets him teach her. And then the massage scene. Jules has terrible menstrual cramps. Josh, being a doctor, offers to help. He massages her stomach.
That is surprisingly intimate. It's not sexual initially. It's medical. It's caretaking.
And that's why it's dangerous for their arrangement. He sees her in pain, unguarded, sleepy, and he realizes he wants to take care of her. He admits to himself that he likes seeing her like this. It's a shift from, "I want to conquer her," to, "I want to comfort her."
Jules even admits in that moment that she has never felt safe. That broke my heart a little. She's letting him see the crack in the armor. She's admitting that her entire life is fear-based, and for a moment, he is the shield.
But if Vermont cracked the door open, the next event completely blows it off the hinges. We have to talk about Adeline.
This is the emotional anchor of the story. Adeline, Jules' estranged mother, dies in a car crash.
And Jules' reaction is so complex. The source text does a fantastic job of depicting complicated grief. She's not just sad. In fact, sadness might not even be the primary emotion.
She feels relief.
She feels relief. And then she feels immense shame for feeling relief. She feels like a bad daughter.
Because her mother was her first bully. Her mother was the source of that poverty trauma we talked about earlier.
Exactly. When your abuser dies, or the person who failed you dies, you don't just mourn them. You mourn the relationship you never got to have. You mourn the hope that they might change. You mourn the apology you are now never going to receive. Jules is spiraling. She feels like a monster for not crying the way a daughter should.
And this is where Josh steps up. He is supposed to go to New Zealand. This is his dream trip, the one he's been planning to escape his boredom, his big adrenaline fix.
And he cancels it. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't complain. He drops everything to go to Ohio with her.
He becomes her logistics manager. He handles the funeral home, the packing, the travel. He creates this protective bubble around her so she doesn't have to deal with the real world.
This is the moment the enemies with benefits label dissolve completely. You don't plan a funeral for a friend with benefits. You don't fly to Ohio for a casual hookup. He isn't doing this for sex. He isn't doing this for an adrenaline rush. He's doing it because he cares. He is effectively saying, you fall apart, I'll hold the pieces.
And while they're in Ohio, in this bleak little town of Whittlesburg, we get these moments of pure connection. He tries to cheer her up. He takes her to the world-famous crochet museum.
Which is just a tiny, absurd tourist trap, literally a photo booth with crocheted animals. But it shows he wants to bring levity to her darkness. He wants to see her smile even in the middle of her absolute nightmare.
And then the bookstore. Crabtree Books. This was her sanctuary growing up.
This scene is pivotal. He sees her in her natural habitat. He learns that her favorite book is Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web, that's such a specific, innocent choice for someone like Jules, who projects this tough, cosmopolitan image.
It is. It represents friendship, loyalty, and the inevitability of loss. He learns that she refused to kill spiders as a kid because of that book. It humanizes her in a way that Jules the party girl never allowed. It connects the dots between the tough lawyer and the sensitive child who really just wanted a friend.
And Josh has this epiphany in the bookstore. He realizes that the possibility of Jules is better than the reality of anyone else.
That line is the nail in the coffin for his bachelorhood. He starts seeing a future. He starts planning. He realizes that he isn't bored with her. You can never be bored with her.
Everything seems perfect. They are connecting, they are vulnerable, they are in love, even if they haven't said it out loud yet. But this is a drama. We can't have the sunshine without the storm. And this storm is a Category 5 hurricane. We have to talk about the betrayal.
This is the massive controversy of the book. It centers on a painting, a seemingly ugly, insignificant painting hanging in Josh's house.
It turns out, years ago, Jules stole that painting from him.
During a party 7 years prior. But context is everything here. She didn't steal it for fun. She didn't steal it for money for herself. She was being blackmailed by her ex, Max. Max had a sex tape of her revenge porn, essentially, and was threatening to release it to her law school, to her job, to everyone, if she didn't help him steal from rich targets.
That is horrifying. She was young, she was terrified, and she was protecting her future, the very future she built to escape poverty.
She was backed into a corner. She felt she had no choice. But that destroys Josh. She never told him. Even when they got close. Even in Vermont. Even in Ohio.
So when she finally confesses to him, it's not the theft that actually matters.
No. Josh doesn't care about the object. He's rich. He can buy another painting. He probably hated the painting anyway. It's the lie. It's the fact that she didn't trust him enough to say, I am in trouble, help me. It triggers his absolute deepest insecurity.
That he is just a tool to be used.
Or a fool to be duped. It triggers his trauma regarding his father's betrayal.
And this is where we see the golden boy mask completely fall off. We see the real Josh Chen, and he is terrifying.
He detaches. He calls his charm a skin suit. That imagery is chilling. It implies that his humanity is something he puts on and takes off like a coat. He flips a switch and becomes ice cold. He becomes the monster he always feared he was inside.
And then he punishes her. We have to talk about that scene. It's a sexual encounter, but it's not love. It's really uncomfortable to read.
It's weaponized intimacy. He tells her he forgives the theft, but the emotional betrayal, no. He initiates sex, but he makes it purely transactional. He refuses to kiss her. He tells her to get on all fours. He removes all warmth, all connection entirely. He reduces her to a body.
Why does he do that? It seems so cruel for the guy who just planned her mother's funeral.
It is cruel. And that's the point. When his trust is broken, he wants her to feel as small as he feels betrayed. He wants to assert dominance because he feels like a fool.
And for Jules, whose deepest fear is that she is unworthy of love, that she is just a body to be used.
This confirms everything she hates about herself. It is a precise surgical strike on her psyche. He knows exactly where to hit her because he knows her so well.
It's the lowest point in their relationship. They are broken. Jules retreats into studying for the bar exam, just trying to survive the days. Josh is stewing in his anger. It feels irretrievable.
Until the universe intervenes. The climax of the physical danger plot.
The accident. Jules is exhausted, heartbroken, and she runs into Max again, or rather, the consequences of that past come back to haunt her. She is pushed down a flight of stairs.
And she wakes up in the hospital.
And who is her attending doctor?
Dr. Josh Chen. Talk about a nightmare scenario.
It's the ultimate test. He has to treat the woman he loves, but is currently hating, while maintaining professional distance. He has to save the person who broke his heart.
There is a moment where he is assessing her injuries. He's asking her questions, checking for a concussion, and she says, "Someone pushed me." And the text says his professional mask just cracks.
This is the reality check. Anger is a luxury. You can only afford to be angry when the other person is safe. When Jules is hurt, when her life is threatened, Josh realizes that being right or justified in his anger is meaningless if she is dead.
It snaps him out of his rage instantly.
The priority shifts from punishing her to keeping her.
But he doesn't just forgive her immediately, or rather, she doesn't let him back in immediately. Then rightfully so. He hurt her deeply with the way he treated her during the breakup. He showed her his cruelty. She needs to heal. She needs to pass the bar exam. She needs to prove to herself that she can stand on her own 2 feet without him.
So Josh has to work for it. And we love a good grovel.
The grovel arc.
Mhm.
It's essential. Josh realizes he can't just charm his way back in. He can't just smile and be the golden boy. He has to prove he sees her.
So he sets up a scavenger hunt,
In a bookstore.
which is perfect. He recreates the magic of their Ohio trip. He hides clues in books.
Notice the detail here. He hides a clue in Charlotte's Web. He hides clues in an Italian cookbook, referencing her favorite food. He is proving, step by step, that he knows her mind. He isn't just chasing a physical connection, he is chasing an intellectual and emotional one. He is showing her that he remembers the safe places.
And when they finally talk, he lays it all out. He admits he was wrong to judge her. He admits that they are both flawed.
He uses the word twisted. He acknowledges that they are both twisted, but they fit together. It's an acceptance of their jagged edges. He says, "You're stuck with me forever."
And he says that line about happiness. He used to chase highs, adrenaline, popularity, but she is the only thing that makes him happy forever.
That is the maturity arc for Josh. He moves from chasing temporary sensation to investing in permanent connection. He stops running for the boredom and finds peace in the person.
I want to zoom out a bit and talk about the themes here, because we've touched on them, but let's really drill down. Theme 1, the nature of hate.
As we said at the start, the book argues that their hate was a form of intimacy. It was a way of engaging with each other when they were too afraid to be vulnerable. The insults were a safe way to touch each other without risking rejection. When the hate dissolved, the obsession remained, but it transmuted into love.
It's like that energy has to go somewhere. It can power a generator or it can blow up a bomb, but the energy is the same. It's about engagement. Indifference is the lack of engagement.
Exactly. They were never indifferent.
Theme 2, acceptance of the twisted self. This feels like the core message of the whole narrative.
Both of them believe they are fundamentally bad inside. Jules thinks she's a fraud, a gold digger, broken by her past. Josh fears he is unfeeling, a psychopath like his father because he can detach so easily.
The skin suit comment really highlights that fear for Josh. He thinks he's faking his humanity.
The resolution comes when they look at each other's darkness and say, "I can live with this. I'm safe with this." Josh isn't scared of her baggage, and she isn't scared of his coldness because she knows the warmth underneath. They validate each other's hidden selves. They don't ask the other person to be perfect. They just ask them to be present.
And finally, theme 3, forgiveness. This isn't just about Josh and Jules. There is a massive subplot here involving Alex Volkov.
Right. For those who haven't read the previous books, Alex Volkov is Josh's former best friend who betrayed him and dated Ava. Josh has been holding a grudge for 2 years. He has been fueling that hate generator.
And in this book, we finally see them reconcile.
Josh realizes that holding onto the grudge is exhausting. It's another form of butt. That hate requires energy concept. By forgiving Alex and eventually forgiving Jules, Josh frees himself. He learns that forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was okay. It's about refusing to let the past control the future.
It parallels his journey with his father, Michael, too. He visits him in prison.
He does. And that visit is crucial. He realizes his father is just a pathetic man. He's not a monster under the bed anymore. He's just a man who made terrible choices. That demystification allows Josh to let go.
So where do they end up? We get a glimpse of the epilogue.
They are living together. Jules passes the bar. She's a lawyer. She achieved her fortress. Josh finishes his residency. They are successful.
And the banter is still there. They didn't become boring people who just stare lovingly at each other. They still bicker.
That's vital. The hate transformed into banter. They challenge each other. They keep each other sharp. Friction generates heat. The strongest relationships are the ones that survive the fire.
It asks you to consider, is the person you can't stand actually the person who challenges you the most because they are the only one who truly sees you?
It's a terrifying thought, honestly. It implies that to be truly loved, you have to be truly known. even the parts you want to hide, especially the parts you want to hide.
So here's a question for you to mull over as you go about your day. We all wear masks. The professional mask, the nice neighbor mask, the I have it all together mask. If you stripped all of that away, if you showed someone your insecurities, your past mistakes, your twisted thoughts, who in your life would still be standing there?
And would you be brave enough to let them stay?
Something to think about. Thank you for listening to this deep dive. We'll see you next time.